Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 3, jumping out here with this Yuumi and Poppy number. And the way that this has kind of come together is I've been trying to find some kind of reasonable way to use Yuumi that doesn't involve just being a Pantheon deck. And the place that kind of feels strong is with challengers, right? The kind of two things I was looking to use Yuumi with are kind of picking and choosing to where that unit can get into combat. That's what challengers do, and then some way to make the reusability of attach be pretty good to so you're kind of not upset if you come out here and lose a combat because you're just going to get the Yuumi right back. That's something else challengers would be good with, and then she does like to see these attacks as to what helps her level up, and so that was leading towards trying to play scouts. And so if we're looking to play a bunch of challengers, we're looking to play some scouts. The place that you would probably start your search would be with the likes of playing Misfortune Quinn, right? That's just kind of where the scouts decks come from. All the scout bros are there. You're taking some advantages of attacking multiple times. But a lot of the cards there just didn't work out in the current meta. The kind of big things we're running into now, and probably the big question you need to ask yourself over the next week or so, is how does my deck deal with Gnar? And a lot of the likes of the Misfortune Quinn style decks just didn't do it very well, right? We are playing things like Fleet Feather Tracker, but playing the Quinn Bird, playing things like Mirai Warden, just all of those one health units aren't really happy in a world full of wallops, or not wallops, a world full of Pokey Sticks, and then a lot of the AoEs that come about with people testing out their Udyr and their Gnar style builds with the likes of say like Ice Shards or whatever. So it's not a very happy place for a one cost unit to be. And then like it shouldn't take people too long to kind of figure out flipping Yuumi isn't actually a big deal, right? I mean, she goes to the other side and just gives the unit spell shield, but that's not really enough to be investing in. It is a pretty big deal to get a Misfortune to flip. Switching to the 3 damage AoE is a pretty big deal, but giving a single unit spell shield off the Yuumi flip isn't that big of a deal. And so what I was kind of finding was I didn't like a lot of the scout cards. I didn't want to play Quinn. And I did, though, enjoy playing the challengers. And what it kind of like felt like playing on all the challengers is that you're able to build up a pretty big board, right? You find all these spaces to where you can kind of like pick and choose combats. You run into a lot of turns to where you'll have a challenger or two on the board and your opponent just stops playing cards. And that leaves you with a lot of good spaces to just stop playing cards as well. And it runs you into these turns to where, say, like we spend 4 mana on challengers, our opponent holds their 4 mana back, and then we just pass, right? So we didn't really miss out on anything, but we do want to capitalize on that pass. And the addition of some of these other cards is what really helps in that sense. And so Yuumi really helps there, right? Every turn that passes by, she grows. Poppy helps with the go wide themes. Then we can come down here and see the likes of Vanguard Sergeant for the 4 Demacias, and then Cytherea for the big AoE boost to your team. And so that's kind of what things are going along with here, right? We have the decent challenger package and the Fleet Feather Tracker, the Broadwing, the Larent Protege. And then we just have this otherwise decent go wide edition kind of things with the Bright Steel Protector to protect our bros. The Durant Sculptor is the one I'm not super sold on. You can find yourself in these good spaces to where you boost up a challenger a little bit and it gets to survive an additional combat. It of course works well with the likes of the Broadwing, but this is something that I'm is certainly the weak link in our deck at this point. And then otherwise. There's, of course, Cytherea. Cytherea is excellent in multiple ways these days, not only just giving our units the big boost, but if you run against formidable decks, there's a really good chance that you can just OTK them from like 18. As your opponent has a board full of like 5-0 attack units, they just get to block Cytherea and everything else gets through. She's also pretty good against Bandle City. Where everyone is out there playing their conchologists and their loping telescopes and can render their whole board unblockable. And so lots of good bonuses with Cytherea. And then I think the big question in this format is how are you able to deal with Gnar? and this may not be something that grows across the format to the likes of like Azir, Irelia in their prime, or Ari Kennen before they caught some nerfs. But with the new set being out and people wanting to play with the new cards, you're gonna play against a ton of Gnar, and you have to be ready to deal with him. And so the ways I've kind of felt about that are you need one of these just kind of like early stuns or homecomings, or just some way to kind of cancel his combat. If your opponent plays him for 4 mana, and then has to play an additional 2 mana for a pokey stick to try and get him to flip, that's kind of like whatever. But if they just get in like an attack with him and then he flips and then you get a stun on him the next turn, that tends to be pretty worthwhile. I've spent a lot of time trashing these these stun style cards in reference to the likes of Yasuo. But I think you have to just have something now. We can't be playing this like stat-based board advantage kind of thing and then have our opponent just throw a gigantic quick attack at us. It's just too much damage from Gnar. We're throwing away too many units, and it's very nice to just have a stun to cancel him for a round. Otherwise, we do have tons of challengers to try and take him down on Little Gnar form. We have the standard removal or the standard combat trick and sharp sight, the good rallies in the Golden Aegis, and then Ranger's Resolve is pretty good in multiple ways. Be that protecting us from the likes of pokey sticks or the AoEs, and then just having these big go wide strategies is pretty nice with the Ranger's Resolve. And so yeah, the last thing I'll say is don't be afraid to just put Yuumi on the board. I was initially just kind of like, yeah, we're never going to play Yuumi, and then it was like I'd get into a game and be like, fuck, I have to play a 3-drop this turn and I only have Yuumi, and it's not like the favorite thing you can be doing, but she does get out of hand kind of quickly. And the way it tends to work out nicely is you'll find these boards to where you just play her after your attack, and so she's not going to do anything that turn anyways. She's the reasonably statted 3/3 for 3 the following turn, and then just keeps growing, and your opponent has to be ready to deal with that. And so again, maybe we'll find a game here, maybe we won't, but and probably like the past 10 games or so I've played with this, I've just dropped Yuumi on 3 like 2 or 3 or 4 times, and wasn't really upset about it. And so she looks pretty good here. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump on in, see if we can't have ourselves some delightful games here. So yeah, I've been having fun with this one. It's kind of closer to my wheelhouse of the style of decks I like. The only thing that makes me sad about it is I would prefer the sharp sight to be a troll chant. There's just like so many decks that we've been playing to where you're kind of following the sequencing of getting a 2-cost on 2, a 2-cost on 3, and then having the 2 spell mana banked up. Sharp sight fits in there, but it's nice to be able to get the 2-for-1 with the troll chant. So coming with this one against Quinn Misfortune, we'll hang on to the combat trick, but then I'm just going to look for some more units. Poppy and Golden Aegis are just a little bit too slow here. Right, and then we'll see if the likes of, what's your name, Durand, probably Durand, here we go, Durand Sculptor. Kind of interesting against the likes of these Misfortune-based decks, and that it can potentially help us survive some of those Misfortune challenges. Looks like what we might be running into next turn. Let's go ahead and bank up this mana. Wouldn't be surprised to see opponent just slam a Misfortune here. It's not a horrible place just to drop Yuumi. I think I can get behind this, right? If opponent has a sharp sight, then we're just kind of making like even trades across the board. But if we get to attach Yuumi to the tracker, he hooks with his Fleet Feather tracker. I guess the other option here is we can just play Larnt Protege and threaten his Misfortune. I feel like, though, if we just play the Protege, he's just going to try and value hook the bird. But, I mean, maybe that's just as good as we're going to get. Right, because we just have to sharp sight at this point on the bird now. Well, if he came in with the Misfortune, I would have been okay with not doing that, but all works out here. All right, get in here and do your thing, Yuumi. It says, "Oh shit, you got a bunch of stats now." Oh shit. So he can sharp sight out of this. He won't lose his misfortune, but he won't win the combat. And then he, of course, hit the ephemeral on his bro. That was fairly painful. We're probably ready just to start hitting with Golden Aegis, right? We're gonna overwhelm this board pretty quickly. His attacks look fairly terrible here. He could have a sharp sight, but without it, these attacks don't seem very good. We get the 5-4 on the 2-4, the Petrosite on the Penitent Squire. Juicy. Now, I will say I've kind of preferred these Petrosite Broadwings to the likes of the Quinn bird, right? The thing that I see with this is it can kill a Trundle, or not a Trundle. I keep wanting to call what's his nuts the Gnar. I keep wanting to call Gnar Trundle, but against like the Gnar decks, being able to take down Gnar on its own is pretty good, and then it's pretty decent in the likes of surviving the Pokey Sticks, and then as it kind of grows, it's a little bit more threatening. I've been reasonably happy with this unit. Then I'm looking to add the Vanguard Sergeant here. I don't think we're going to attack with it though, so maybe I think we'll just bank them. We'll play it post-combat. I think that's probably the safe way to go about this, because if we attack and then opponent has a combat trick, kills our protege, we get Yuumi back, I'm going to want to play Yuumi this turn. So let's go ahead and save that one. We'll go for the trade. We'll have to lose our bro for this, but try and get something out of the combat. Oh shit, we flipped Yuumi. Get them bonus stats. There it is, them Yuumi flips. Didn't even need a scout unit. All right, and then we're just like super far ahead at this point, right? We've got another Golden Aegis ready to go next turn. It's going to take us a bit of time to come out and win this one, but like from the units that they put on board, I'd kind of imagine that they're sitting on a lot of like Genvivis and a lot of Cythrias and the like, because they'd really prefer to be going wide here. There's Genvivi. And so, like, what do we care about that she could come in and hook? Like, she can come in and hook the... Like, I don't care if she hooks the protege, right? We can just replay the Yuumi after that. So I don't want to put the barrier on protege. The Broadwing, kind of unfortunate to lose. But it's not doing a ton here. And then... if he's not going to hook the protege, I think he would probably hook the sculptor before the sergeant. So let's just protect the sculptor here. It's not ultra appealing, but and maybe we do just protect the protege. It just feels good to be able to like spread the Yuumi back out after this. It's not. I think it's okay to let it go. That's a close one. This gives us a good hook, at least, if we send the Broadwing into Genvivi here. Doesn't seem like a board where he's had Rangers resolve. Okay.
Where's my hammer?
All right, do we get the Yuumi back? There you go, Duran Sculptor. You just get a shitload of stats. You are welcome. Yuumi Part 2, that was a pretty terrible draw. Like, just any unit would have been great, but didn't get it. we can get in for the extra point of damage. Let's just wait until after combat. Like, we're still at, like, punching in at 7 here. There's the Ranger's Resolve. Okay. So, I mean, do we want to Golden Aegis here? We're not, like, close to winning, but he does have to block both units. I guess the downside to playing the Golden Aegis is he can get good, like, tough blocks with the Broadwing. Oh my gosh, so many Yuumis. These are just, like, the actual worst draws we could pick up. Alright, Jin Vivi, I'm ready for battle. He's got a 4 Demacia, we got a 4 Demacia. Everybody's just going for it. I'm going to put the damage onto the Vanguard Sergeant in case he has another. Well, these are going to be 4 health units when he attacks with Jin Vivi. Also have Fearsome. Yeah, that's definitely the target we want to hit. I mean, I guess we are going to 4 Demacia here, but this is okay. Alright, dude, ready to block. This does not seem like a good attack. Like, he either just hooks in with both of the Formidables and loses them, or we get to throw a block in front of it. Like, he can chunk in for this big Jin Vivi damage, but we're still going to have the big boy at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm gonna block there. You don't have to hook it, but we're definitely blocking it.
Where's my hammer?
Well, just the one, right? No, we could attack with both. That's just lethal. Planned it. Planned it that way. All right, all right. I gotta mark the record on here. I can't figure out a way for these games to get recorded in one of the trackers. It's apparently quite the thing to do. So we'll just keep a little bit of track on screen here and see if we can't remember that way. But yeah, nice little taste of the deck there. I think right off the bat we got to showcase a lot of the power coming out of Yuumi, just in the mountain of stats that she throws onto stuff, and as just kind of like a recurring card advantage engine, right? If we're putting Yuumi onto a challenger to have it trade up, then we get the Yuumi back, and we're able to put it on another challenger, another unit, whatever. It's all pretty good and strong. Okay, decent early game collection of dudes here. I do worry about the likes of the Ice Shard kind of things coming out of Lysandra Talia. I think they do play a reasonable bit of AoEs, but maybe the Durand Sculptor will be enough for us here. Oh, the Ranger's Resolve is a big hold. Let's just give it a turn.
All right, let's get to work.
Now we have the Yuumi. I don't think that's exactly where I want to go with it. He doesn't have anything on board, and I'm not intimately familiar with what we're going to get out of playing against Lysandra Talia, but he seems like the one that's going to have the best shot at surviving any of the combats here. All right, the Thrall's going to be coming down quick. So I like most assuredly want to play Yuumi this turn. Let's start with the Fleet Feather Tracker, and then we can load it up with Yuumi. Maybe we'll be able to take down Lysandra or something onto the next turn. Now, the thing you have to watch out with these is the attach doesn't count as playing a unit, right? So we're going to attach Yuumi to the bird, but we have to play another unit before the bird's going to have Challenger. Durand Sculptor number 2. It's pretty tempting.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
we can just like get out of range of all of their AoEs.
What will you have?
A slight adjustment.
Little bird gets a good challenge onto the curator. And then I guess I mean, why not just throw down Conchologist if he's going to have 4 health, he's going to have all positive attacks this turn. I don't so much want to attack with this Sculptor, though. I worry about opponent coming at us with an Avalanche. So let's like get in with these two. You get to hook the Curator. You get to hook the Lysandra. See where this gets us. Feel like we're not as far as ahead as we should be. We're going to need like a Golden Aegis attack so we can like attack on opponent's turn and then also have like a 4 Demacia attack. Goes for the Flash Freeze. That's fine. Surprised he didn't go for the +3/+4. Okay. Well, we're definitely ahead on board now. It's a matter, maybe we can close out with the 4 Demacia. These multiple Yuumi draws have been awkward. All right, yeah, this is wild. Getting out of here. I've gotten so used to playing Expedition all the time. It's wild to run out into these games and not be playing of the format that we're used to. But on this board, like, is he gonna realistically gonna play another card here? I'm looking to say just deal damage to the Tavern Keeper, hook it with the Fleet Feather Tracker. We're gonna hook Lysandra with our other one, and so maybe we just put the +1 on to say like the Conchologist. I think that's okay. We have to spend some amount of mana here. Get him real good with that projectile. And so is this our turn? Oh, we picked up an Aegis. I think we're looking to open now, and then next turn what's realistically going to happen here? Opponent wants to say play Talia to copy the Thralls. He even has the mana to double copy and play the Thralls. Is that what we're going to be more scared of? That's probably scarier. If he has both Talia, if he has like the full combo, right? The Talia, the doubler, and then the countdown. I mean, we do have the 10 mana. We just have to be going for this, right? We need to end this turn. I didn't think we were going to be able to do both in the 4 Demacia and the Golden Aegis. Fuck. Okay. We can still get quite a bit done this turn. Right, we're hitting for 10. We'll still have our Challenger Bird after this. And so if he like says plays the 3 Sisters and then sends away, yep, exactly. So we can just like rehook Lysandra and try and hit for another 10. We do it? Are we going to get troll chanted? We at least don't have to worry about, well, I guess we still have to like kind of worry about the combos, but nice. GG, my dude. Market a 2-0. Yeah, Lysandra Talia is like a little bit out of my wheelhouse. It's one of those like combo deck kind of things that I knew was like an archetype, but I haven't been playing Constructed when that was a real common one. All right, the Lurkers. I have to assume that this matchup's probably pretty terrible. I think we can hang on to the Sculptor and the Sharp Sight. It's just where, like, in some of the cases where you have, say, like Misfortune, you're able to like hook some of their smaller units so you don't have to deal with fighting it in combat. But we don't have those options here. I'm kind of curious what we can do with the sculptor in terms of maybe surviving a little bit longer through through the lurk attacks. Right, I'm going to sharp sight into the hatchling here. But, right, so like when we play Conchologist, it might be able to survive a little bit longer. Oh shit, we don't have that kind of mana, do we? Oops. That's a next turn kind of thing. I was building up in my head that we were getting these dudes lined up for this, but didn't quite work out. Okay, this is fine. Ooh, almost clicked on that a little bit too quickly. And we probably just want the Purify here, right? This is pretty big in terms of taking down their bigger units. And I want to hook the Fearsome here, given the chance. Okay. He's out of cards now. So this Yuumi should just shut down his attack, right? Well, I guess he can like naturally hit a lurk. Is that what this game is really going to come down to? Is if he hooks with Pike and naturally hits the lurk? He missed. Cool. I mean, sometimes you just gotta go for it, I guess. Beauty in the blade. It's like I kind of want to attack with the sculptor and see if we can't just trade sharp sight for one of these units. I think this is good. I mean, it should be super obvious that we have tricks here, but this is like one of these spaces to where even if this fails, like if he has to spend some mana on a sharpened resolve or whatever, we can still just replay Yuumi again later. Bone Skewer, sure. And Puppy. I mean, this isn't like a horrible place just to drop Yuumi. I don't think we're going to want to. I'd prefer to just be a little bit safer on this turn. Alright, so we should be able to just block anything with the Protege. Sure. He has to go for the lurks. We should just be running over this one now. It's tempting to drop Poppy. I mean, he's far away from like the good lurks, but having Poppy flip into Keeper's Verdict is a real decision. Favorite card ever, Snapjaw Swarm. I don't really want to give up on the Conchologist. I wanted to get its stats back, but I think this is okay. The block with Cytherea. He has some way to get ultra clever here. We still have the Purify to take the stats down. How big is this? It's a 5 attack Pike. It's a little unfortunate, but okay. So these units trade. Now we have the hook onto Pike. All right, looking good. Oof. Cytherea returns, ready for battle. Let's just get this shit out of here. It's only got one card now. There's no reason to hang on to that stuff. Then Cithria has more damage than Poppy. We'll probably still just play Poppy next turn, but no worries. Is he gonna kill our protege and just give us the Yuumi back? Sure. Oh shit, we don't just like die to this, do we? You always have to wonder if Pike's just gonna AoE your whole team. Great. Well done, guy. Game was so out of reach for him. Insane. You just have to like naturally hit the Pike on top of your deck, right? He didn't bone skewer Pike on top, he just hit it. I guess that's what we get for the Pike round earlier, where he missed on his hook. Okay, Poppy dies. Oh, hang on. I thought he was going to strike. Oops. Given how horrible the how horrible the lurkers are in Expedition, no surprise that we don't know how Pike works. just ignore him. He's terrible. I'm gonna take the Outcat, get the Fae out of this. This also boosts Yuumi. And do we ever want to just play Yuumi? Like, I don't think there's. I'm not familiar enough with what their combat tricks are as to whether or not it's safer just to play her or to go ahead and stack her on top of Poppy, so the Poppy gives the bonus to the Outcat as well. Let's just play her.
Lead the way, Book. You've been following me? I go where you go.
All right. Managed to survive that one. That was a little scary. But we did it. Look at that 3-0 on the record. You're seeing it here first. Greatest plays of all time. But no, I'm glad we get to showcase these Yuumis. It's been nice. I did enjoy it in that previous the previous video we did for Expedition, and getting to put Yuumi onto the likes of the quick attack Yordle. That was pretty nice to make like the Yordle a 5/5 and then just give everything quick attack on your attacks pretty easily. So here, this is one of these like slightly awkward ones. I think we might be able to just take some early game damage from opponent and then get this Yuumi Fleet Feather Tracker kind of rolling. Let's see. He leads with Treasure Seeker. Okay, I was gonna say, like, if he leads with the Fearsome, I'll probably attack into it, but if he has a not Fearsome style thing, then we probably need to just sit back for a turn. Bloodbait, everybody's favorite card.
I sculpt what others only dream of.
Steady now.
So how's this going to go next turn? In terms of him hitting us with Bloodbait, right? I guess he's not going to have like a guaranteed hit with the Lurk, but if our game plan is to put Yuumi onto the bird and then hook a hatchling, we're going to lose out. But I think this is still okay. Right, when he plays the thing like right now, the Bloodbait, I guess if it misses, this is just like a catastrophe for him, right? If we get to block with the Fleet Feather Tracker, we still get to just block with the tracker, right? That's pretty good. I'm kind of regretting not blocking with this sculptor now, but got his board cleared out pretty nicely.
I don't want to be whatever woke you up.
What do we want out of these? I'm leaning towards just Chain Vest. It's just like the stuff grows over top of us so quickly that it's like tempting to pick up a scrap heap to just discard something expensive and try and pick up like a cheap, well-statted Yordle. I think this is what we want. I mean, I guess the perk of Chain Vest is it lets us Chain Vest our Durand thing and then put it in front of the 2-1. I think I'd still prefer just to go for this. Let's make a Yordle plan.
Wondrous discoveries await below.
Right, his attacks here still kind of suck if we're just putting Conchologist in front of the Treasure Seeker and trading away the Sculptor.
Got
This.
the model for me?
It's a trap, really? That's getting near. Oh man, I can't remember the fish guy's name from Star Wars. The It's a Trap guy. Oh man, I'm getting too old. Too old. This is kind of nice with Poppy though.
I just know the hero's around here somewhere.
Okay, I guess it's less nice. We can still survive with Poppy if we play the sharp side onto her. That might be the way to go about this. We get all of his units off of the board. Poppy survives, right? Because she'll go up to 4 health from her ability, then +2 with the sharp sight. Okay. Excellent. I like it. We're in a decent space now. What's gonna happen is we're gonna play Yuumi and then just try and discard Yuumi to the scrap heap.
Persistence is key.
No, looking good. He's down to 1 card. I think this might be the turn we want to play Wallop. Well, now that he's added Dunebreaker, we're gonna play Wallop, just not on the Zersai collar. Are we in this kind of like must block space with Poppy though? I think so. We pick up a good big one here. I think we just want Professor Von Meck to get the additional cards in our hand. Opponent's down to 1 card, and we're really close to closing this out. I think that's fine. Now we just pass Poppy in front of this thing. Do we actually... I like this less now, because I kind of want to just take the 7 and save the Wallop for next turn. And then we could have thrown the Von Meck in front of this thing, just to go ahead and get some damages on it. I think I like that a little bit more. Like we got the big old bunch of blockers now, but he has all the stats in the world to throw in front of our stuff. This is like the literal best bubble bear ever. Oh my gosh. As good as you can be, my dude. As good as you can be. Live your best life. You gotta put some damage out here. So that's fine. I want to be able to try and like trade with one of these if he doesn't open on us next turn. And then if he does open, I think we're okay. We're just going to take 8, or we'll take 10 if he's going to drop a hit a lurk.
We can always rely on you to keep us safe.
Have to imagine he's going to hit the lurk, right? It's almost impossible for him to not hit it. I'm gonna add the Protege as a blocker for the Chronomancer. This is where he's gonna come in. If he hit like Rek'Sai, that's gonna be kind of problematic. But you can see how much better this turn could potentially be if we're getting to pick and choose where we block over here on his Dune Breakers. So let's see what's going to happen here, right? He's going to hook Bubble Bear with the Hammer Snout. We want to put the Protege in front of the Chronomancer, but I think we can actually live with just a Sculptor here.
All right, let's get to work.
16.
Stay still.
Let's see, see how much nicer this would be if we could just get the stun this turn. We could have probably killed one of these units on our attack or something. It's just kind of a pain where we're at now. I don't like how we played this. This Doombreaker is going to be a problem now. All right, let's spend our mana. Maybe we'll find another answer to the Doombreaker.
Break their spirits and their swords.
This time, book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if we would have been able to get that one if we played a little bit more optimally, but I'm certainly not happy with how we did that one. But still think the Lurkers is probably a pretty bad match in terms of we don't have any of the like the big value plays that you would see out of like the normal Scouts deck, where I don't think the normal Scouts deck's a very good matchup against Lurkers either, but you at least have some combos as to where you might get to like Misfortune hook in a 1 health unit and then block the next turn or something. So we miss out on those sweet things. All right, yeah, I'm getting like more and more interested in just getting this Duran Sculptor out of our deck. Just, I don't know, there has to be something a little bit more useful than this. I mean, it might turn out decent here. Give us some extra hooks with the Protege against Bandle City, but it's tough. So how do we want to go about this, right? We can play the Sculptor, ignore the deckhand, and then try to make like a Broadwing into Yuumi play next turn. Taking that route, though, does leave the Powder Keg on board. The downside to some of this other stuff is if he has, say, like a Make It Rain and gets a big AoE on us, then we miss out on quite a bit. Let's do this. Let's start with the Broadwing. I think I'm okay with this if like he attacks, we block with the Broadwing, and then we still get to hook the Powder Keg next turn. Okay. Sure. That wasn't so bad. He did get his Gangplank tick up, but that could have certainly been a lot worse. And let's just go with the Vanguard Sergeant. There's not like a whole host of units that we're able to just come in and hook with the Protege. And the Sergeant should be scary enough. Should still be able to attack, get some good blocking in next turn. I think he's a win. This is going to be his Gnar turn, right? Oh, he just doesn't have him?
Is that a challenge?
Okay.
I sculpt what others only dream of. Packed 'em good.
It's down to having 2 mana.
I'll buy some time.
Bringing it.
I protect my
Need to need to find that Ranger's Resolve real fast. Alright, incoming, make it rain. Oh, nice. I think we've gotten pretty lucky in this. This dude's he's just missed on every opportunity.
You're covered.
Alright, well, let's get these stats on board while we can. We'll go ahead and drop the Protector, give one of the Sculptors a little bit of protection, and then we'll follow up with Protege.
Strength and grace, beauty in display.
There's the Gangplank.
You call this a fight? Aha!
Needs a finish.
Let's just hit. You know, I was before he played the Gangplank, I was interested in making this attack because his blocks are all terrible. But if he wants to, say, put 3 damage on Gangplank and just get killed by a Wallop, that seems pretty decent for us. He's just going to have no board after this. Losing 2 Powder Kegs really sucks for him. Okay. What's his status at now? 3 ticks on Gangplank. So we don't have to worry about sending a Wallop at Gangplank and then having him flip on us. I wonder if we even, like,
Never tried this chemical before.
if he ever even, like, sends him in.
A slight adjustment.
Did he hit us with anything this turn? So to flip his Gnar, he's counting on Gangplank at this point. Huh. I was wanting to save the Yuumi to, I was looking to see if we couldn't get like 10 mana next turn, right? Since we're going to the 7 mana turn, if we bank 2, we can both Aegis and 4 Demacia. But I mean, is that still just the better way to go about this? Just kind of like let some of this stuff happen and then make the big combo play next turn? Because he's like not gonna be amped about attacking with Gangplank here. But we can still just have like a pretty similar thing. Let's just pass. And so we can still have a pretty similar thing next turn if we still just had the Aegis for Demacia, and then missing out on the Wallop's not a big deal. Yep. Ugh. It's not terrible.
A little reinforcement at the seams.
Oh, okay. He already dealt the damage to us this turn? That's fairly positive.
Hardly fair.
Wanna see what it does?
Okay, that leaves us in a pretty good spot. Got dudes, 3 cards in hand. He's going to have an empty board. That's looking pretty good if you ask me. Got that pokey stick though. That's a start. That's a start, am I right? He can drop the pokey stick onto. Our bird is safe. It's like he can drop the pokey stick on our bird. Not even happening here.
I never.
Heal an ally to full and then have it strike another one. That's better than the bouncing bomb here. We could heal the protege up. Sure.
Let's take a peek at life beneath the waves.
Makes sense. Draws Gangplank. Wow. Whew. That's a pretty good draw. not gonna lie, that was about as good as it gets. And so we have to just wallop now. It's kind of shitty, but I'm glad that we have it. Doesn't we don't have Formidable on the protege. Don't feel like he's gonna be just attacking down that Gangplank. Why? Why are you doing this?
Easy does it.
Just to get the damages in? Sure. That's very strange. Gonna hit us for 1 with the bomb, but I don't quite get why they would do that. So we're just gonna look to try and win with the Winds of War. We could potentially hook something with Fleet Feather Tracker if we need to. The only worry thing here would be if he has like a if he just draws Make It Rain. Okay, we can deal with that.
I've got your back.
Boomed him. Nice. Ooh, that was weird. That was a little closer than I wanted it to be. I prefer all of my games to be blowouts on our side. But another strong Yuumi. I'm telling you, it's good stuff there. All right, the old Darkness deck. This is a historically terrible matchup, and I'm sure it will stay the same here. It is, nice having the kind of recurring strength in Yuumi, but it's not usually enough to overcome their card advantage. Hoping to get a little bit more early game interactivity here, but not happening.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
Give me your malice creatures of doom!
Yeah, not worth it. Let's be real. I wish we had a better way to deal with this dum-dum, but
Stay still.
all right. I mean, we could have just maybe that would have been the thing, is to accept the strike, and then we get to drop the 2/4 health Broadwings the next turn. But that's a kind of a big ask. It's gonna power through this now. Comes the Darkness and picking up the 2-for-1. Yep. Whoa. Was he gonna have the Vile Feast? That's not cool. Okay. Gotta catch some improvement wherever we can. This dum-dum's not doing anything on board. Vagar. Okay, so he's got a 3 damage Darkness for now.
Discipline and steel.
What happens if we play Poppy, right? He's just gonna drop the Darkness onto her. And we can start with the Aegis first and kind of see what happens, but maybe we just drop the 4 Demacia. I think this is the way to go about it. I think very frequently they just have a removal spell here, but if we can Ranger's Resolve through the removal spell and then just chunk in a ton of damage, it's not completely upsetting. Event Horizon. That's pretty good against the Formidables. Okay. Was that the physical one or was that the Vagar? That's Vagar. Okay. I don't think they usually play the physical one. Alright. Well, that sucks. Wear him down a little bit though. If he drops the darkness, blocks and drops the darkness on our sergeant, that's pretty good. This dude's not about playing darknesses. Curious if we can't get like a good Cythria attack at some point if we're able to attack through Vagar and the smaller bros that are in their repertoire.
I'm no hero, but I'm still gonna try.
I'm no hero. That's right, though. We're going to try, Poppy. We're going to give this a go. Try our best. See if we can't do it. Okay, attack number 1. Now we can do this thing to where we like open Brightsteel Protector Poppy next turn and then follow up with Cythria. Barely have enough mana to do all that. I was like, this is gonna be lame. I could already tell you before the card hit that was gonna be lame.
Show them our metal.
Okay. Interesting. He blocks with Vagar, but doesn't block with the Spiderling. Curious why he would just throw the damage onto him.
You're covered.
All right, let's give it a shot. This might actually work out good. If he spends like, if he plays like a Vengeance onto Poppy or something, and we get to drop Cythria, that's lethal.
The elements bind the living.
Similar. He doesn't have the mana to play this darkness.
Show them what we're made of.
Then I don't think if we attack with Cythria that we also get to Poppy boost everything. It sucks that she's 1 mana short, but I don't think. Yeah, I was gonna say the boost doesn't go the whole way down the track.
Follow my lead.
Okay.
My spirit is stone.
Did we win? Did we lethal? It still says 0. He blocks Cythria, fine. But this does give us a pretty big board for next turn, and we have another Golden Aegis lined up for a rally attack. Might be able to make some magic happen here. So how much is all this? We'll basically have 6 mana for units. That's pretty good. I assume he was gonna like open darkness here, and then if we get to play the Brightsteel, the Poppy, and the Golden Aegis. If that's not enough to win this turn, it might be enough to get the knockout next turn. Senna.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that to you, little guy. I've got your back.
Alright, that's where I like to start. I don't want to be playing the Golden Aegis and then having him be able to just respond to the barrier with the darkness. Like, his board's not scary. I think this is pretty good. And then I just don't want to rally onto Poppy, right? I assume we're going to play the Aegis and then he's going to hit Poppy with it, but I think this is okay at the end of the day, right? She's not super relevant. Right, she's not actually going to boost any units when we play the second Poppy. So with that in mind, would we rather just... No, we can't do anything else. We only have 8 mana.
I'm not sure what to do either.
I'm not sure what to do, Poppy. Let's come over here. I kind of dig it. We might be able to be in a space to where if we can get the like Cythria attack way over on the left, and then he blocks with the Ixtali Sentinel, then he doesn't get any of the lifesteal. And so I'm kind of like envisioning if we can get 2 barrier attacks over to the left, it kind of forces him to block with his good units onto the barriers.
That's okay.
Pokey stick, huh? That's not what I was expecting. Okay, he's tapped out.
Don't hold back! Honor guide me.
Like this, right? That just has to end it, right?
What are you made of? Moving in.
Well, it's not going to end it this turn, but he's not going to have any board next turn and we get the big open. I guess it's not that big of an open. We just have the Cithria. Damn. We can't get this Poppy to die. Well, I guess it's okay that she's around. I was hoping that we'd be able to have Poppy on board. Or we could just like replace Poppy this turn, but just give us impacts now. Finally.
No hero, huh? Guess I'll finish this one.
Maybe that will be enough. Man, he's still out here blocking shit. Are we not going to be able to do this? Okay, he's playing cards that don't matter. Okay, okay. I think we got it. Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Boosted up to the 5 and 1. Look at that. Who needs a deck tracker? I just got it right on the screen. It says 5 and 1. But cool. Let's get a couple more games in. See if we can't get up into platinum with all the professional bros. No, I'm going to give this 2 more games, and then we're going to call it a day. So it's unfortunate I don't have any like really sweet anecdotes for everyone today. Nothing super exciting has happened in life over the over the past 24 hours. I don't get to share any wild and wonderful events with you. Here, do we want to keep a Poppy against Vigio Kindred? I just like when I see these Poppies, I ultimately worry that, you know, we play a 2-on-2, a 2-on-3, Poppy on 4, and then open. But if they kill a unit along the way, she's just not that good. I would rather her show up a little bit later. That's kind of like the flip side to some of these draws we would see out of like the misfortune-based scouts, as to where you play like a 1-drop. And then it you maybe get two cards out of your 2-drop, and you can just push through that way. And then by the time you get to the turn 4 open, you've got 4 other units on board. So we can't quite do that here. This is another game where I just don't want this Durand Sculptor. it just never ends for the Sculptor. Okay. Maybe that'll change now that we could potentially get the double Petricite down next turn. Boost them all. Sure. And say he has 2 mana. There's nothing like big scary coming out of this. He might come in and win the combat, but he's never going to not lose it or not die. All the broad wings.
Come a long way from a flying stone bird.
What's that noise?
Let's just add Conchologist at this point, right? He's not. If he plays another card, we can hook it, but it's like there's not too much that's just gonna like come out of these. So let's at least like weaken up like the Conchologist as opposed to getting this other dum-dum into combat. Really? Okay. Was not expecting that one. And I'm kind of curious that, like, as we run into this board, if this wasn't the space to where we don't just try and make a Cithria play, right? As we would often see in Expedition, the Kindred decks like to be able to come out and kill all these little spiderlings off. Are we playing into the Ruination? How bad is this? No, he just has a weird hand. Okay.
I've come a long way from a flying stone bird.
All right. Well, here comes the juice.
Soldiers, to me!
Aw. It's kind of lame, dude. That's kind of lame. We lethal, though? Wow. Okay. Played a lot of cards. I don't know what else to say about that sequence other than he played a lot of cards. But let's hook this thing over to the left, right? He's at 20. So we don't want to miss out on any of this. Otherwise, if we hook it to the right, he's going to get to lifesteal some of it. Getting in. Pretty big boom. This guy's just ignorable. No blocks. And there's not any cards I have to be like really scared of, right? I don't think he's going to have any big like AoEs to take our board down. So I'm just going to put Yuumi on our worst unit. And then we can kind of like pick and choose where we hook. I'm accepting that we're just like never going to kill this Hydrovine. In like regular combats, right? I mean, we have this 4 Demacia lined up here, but if we wanted to open, we just want to put it in the weak place. Okay, so we're just never going to lethal this turn, right? Even if our two biggest units, like the 8 and the Petricite, ooh, are we close? We got 11. Okay, we'd probably just lethal this turn. He can get out of it, but let's make sure we little to big.
We march to the world below. Deep breath now. Run them through.
8. Protege can survive here. You'll get a takedown here. We're just gonna lose the unit. Let's make sure. Let's attack with our 7, and then try and trade our 8 into it.
To the world below.
Okay, give it one of these. I'm ready. Boomed him. All right. Nice. Okay, the final battle is amongst us. This is where the final battle would be an expedition, right? We've got our 6 wins. We just won the pre-final battle. Let's see what we can do. This queue's gonna take like a minute and a half. We're gonna have to fight that Draven Poro bot. Everything is ultimately pretty scary for us right now. That might be a pretty decent way to take these. Is to see if we can't get up to the 7 wins or so. Someone in the comments kind of mentioned perhaps following the same theme as we would have an expedition, but just chasing through on the ranked ladder, trying to get up to that 7 wins. That might be a reasonable amount of time. This video's gone on for a little over an hour. That's about what you would get out of an expedition run. It's just it depends on kind of the deck we're playing as well. But here, I want like a little bit more early interactivity. I think we can hang on to Yuumi, but let's get rid of the Vanguard Sergeant. It's like we need a cheaper challenger, right? I'd really prefer one of the smaller ones that we could attach Yuumi to on 3 or 4. Let's Fleet Feather Tracker.
Nothing escapes my watch.
Not trading, but also not intending to play the Brightsteel Protector. I'm looking to just add the Protege here. The Protege can still hook the Sentry in and have a winning turn. And then maybe next turn, as we look to make a Yuumi hook, we can save the Brightsteel, or if he's going to play a Gnar next turn, then maybe we want the protector then. Sure. Trundle, Nar, Lysandra. What's the Piltover in this for? I don't quite understand that. Is he just gonna boom us with the 8 drops this game? I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that. All right, but I'm gonna Yuumi the smaller unit here. It's still capable of taking down Lysandra, but it protects our board a bit from AoEs. So it definitely can't Ice Shard us. If he wants to play a Avalanche, it's not as spectacular. This looks decent. Rip Cytheria. Okay. You fought valiantly, friend. We get all this mana. It's like I want to spend it on a Yuumi's projectiles so that we can protege something down. Oh my goodness. I mean, this might be a pretty worthwhile turn for the Golden Aegis, but I think we're looking for more like big combo turns than this one. This feels like a little weak here. I'm looking more along the lines of playing our Bright Steel, put it on our good unit, just keep it protected a little bit, and then we can still attack with our big boys. This seems like the kind of turn where he's just passing and we're going to run into a Three Sisters. But I mean, like, Three Sisters is going to cost him like 4 or 5 or 6 mana, and that doesn't really add to anything on the board here. This is the Manifest guy, right? We don't. Who knows what this card is? This isn't an expedition. I haven't been playing enough to see if they've added Jace back in, but all signs point to no. I'm pretty sure Jace never made his way to the big show. I've still never played a Jace, and so maybe one day, my friend, you'll you'll find out what it's like to be piloted by the one and only FTP Bust. What was that? He was gonna play a fast spell or a slow spell and called it back. Huh. Curious what that would have been. There's no like removal spells that would have killed either of our units. That can't feel good for opponent. If you've noticed, all of our units are just way bigger than Trundle. And so I think this is pretty okay for us. I'm going to take the shield here. This is going to be our best option for a combat trick. I can't, like, imagine he's attacking with Trundle, but, you know, if he does attack and we block with our bird, then this is the place where I want it to be a little bit safer. Now we're ready for the 4 Demacia into Golden Aegis. May run into like a Frostbite or something, but it's ultimately not that bad. Yep. Watch this dude spend a ton of mana here. So the new question is, he's gonna block our 5/5 with Trundle, right? So do we give up on the Golden Aegis play, or you know, to come in and try and take the Trundle down? I think so. Right, so he's going to put Trundle onto the Conchologist. We'll play Sharpsight or whatever to get the kill onto him. Well, let's slow our roll here real quick, right? 6 takes him down to 9. Nice, right? 6 to 9. Nice. And then we can get a kill with the Golden Aegis. Okay. Right, so we're going to re-attack. He's going to block our 6 health unit with Trundle and then take 11. I think that done did it. I think we got ourselves there. It says, oh shit. No stop and bust in the final battle. Mystic shot. Ah, alright. That's kind of lame. But we get the Trundle off the board, take him to 3. We have some units we can add to the board, so we should be good to go on the follow-up attack. Maybe just this one. Tap out for something irrelevant. It's our favorite play in the game. I would love to see you just tap out for something irrelevant. Boom, baboon. Huh. I don't think we're going to be able to lethal here, but we might be able to do it next turn. He's going to have full enough dudes. What are you doing? It's like you're not playing. You're not playing Lulu. Huh. All right, we'll get out there, Yuumi. We're ready to get wide and thunder in next turn. As it stands, he's going to have 3 blockers to our 5 units, and all of our units will have 3 attacks. So it should be pretty tough for him to shut us down. Or he has to like spend a bunch of mana on like a harsh winds and then lose all of his blockers, and we can follow back up with another Golden Aegis.
Wake me up when something exciting happens.
I help when I can. Shut up when I can.
Okay. No, dude, no. That's not the kind of fun that we like to have. Get that shit out of here, my dude.
Are you any good at chin scritches?
Did we like permanently lose our Yuumi when she gets entombed like that, or did she pop back to our hand? I kind of missed out on that, on how that goes. I don't know how that synergy works out completely. But we got some big attacks coming in. I'm feeling pretty good. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. So, right, this is kind of how we expected. He needs to have like a frostbite or something. He needs to flip his blockers here around as well. So he puts the 2 attack on our 1 health unit. But he's got to have like the frostbite, and then his board is completely clear. He needs to play some more cards after that, and then we can still follow up with the Golden Aegis and probably take this game down. We'll see. Maybe this is one of these sweet games where you get to Conchologist into Poison Dart. And then hit with the dart. Ooh, what's he go for here? Does he just go for the Flash Freeze? Okay. He's got 5 mana lined up. Switch your units around, dude. Okay. Well, we'll take it. Victory is nigh. Yep. Cupcake. There it is. Mark of W. Sweet. So yeah, let's make it say 7 on our little tracker here, so we all remember how many wins we got. Boom, 7. So yeah, not a bad set of games. I hope you all enjoyed the deck here. We'll pull it up a little bit and talk about it a touch more. But I think we hit on the highlights there at the beginning. So let's see. Yeah, right. I think we hit everything that was important to us, other than getting to Rangers Resolve something. Like, we got 1 Rangers Resolve in there, but we didn't get to like Rangers Resolve through a big wide attack. We didn't get to Rangers Resolve through like an Ice Shard, but it was still pretty good. It's one of those cards that I struggle with, and that like the first copy is extremely good, but if you draw it in multiples, that tends to be pretty bad. And so In terms of like numbers in this deck, the Ranger's Resolve I'm not entirely sure on, and then the Durand Sculptor is a card that I really don't like. It works out nicely in these games where you draw the Broadwings, but we weren't finding any of these games to where the stats were relevant, right? The big thing I talked about with the Sculptor when we were talking about this in terms of Expedition is getting from like 3 health to 4 is huge, right? Everything in Expedition is basically lined up to be like a 3 attacker into a 3 health unit, and boosting your 3 health units to 4 health is like spectacularly important. But that doesn't apply as much with this deck that we're playing here, where the Protege has 4 health, the Vanguard Sergeant has 4 health, Yuumi comes out and boosts a lot of stuff, and so you don't find that many spaces as to where we would be making, like our 2/2 and 3/3 and 4/4 attack into our opponent's 2/2, 3/3, and 4/4, and they just block and trade across the board. You don't find that many spaces that just let you like dominate the boards like that. But I guess that's a terrible example because they can put their 4 in front of your 2. But if you have a board of all 3/3s into your opponent's 3/3s, that's where it does apply. And then if ours get that +1 bonus, it's a big game ender. But there are kind of a handful of things that make me go back and be a little interested in it. In terms of the Broadwing is exceptionally good. Making the Broadwing have 4 health is quite nice, especially when you can find these things to where you make the 4 health Broadwing, you get to trade with your opponent's 3/3, or actually just win that combat, and then still have the Broadwing hanging around. So it can potentially hook down a 1 health unit the next turn. Like that kind of plays pretty big. And then we did talk about the importance of Gnar in this format, and being able to make the Vanguard Sergeant a 3/5 lines up spectacularly with Gnar. And so there may be something there may not. I would rather just play a 6th Consologist, but we're not quite allowed to do that. But I could certainly see a world where we take those Sculptors out. Maybe play a Quinn Bird because it's nice with the spell mana. Maybe we add another Wallop. Maybe we add another Ranger's Resolve. Maybe we even add something like a Riposte. I was considering playing Ripostes in this since we do have so many challengers in here. But those are what I think kind of like the flex spots would be. Is like I'm not, the things I'm not like convinced on are to whether or not we should be playing 3 Yuumi, right? Those games where we draw the second copy of Yuumi is just terrible, and it's kind of like compounded by the fact that most of the time we just attach her to something, so she just comes right back to our hand, and so it may not be worthwhile to play 3 copies of Yuumi. May just want 2. Same with Poppy, right? She's a very expensive unit. We don't have these big board setups to where we only want, if we can't play her on like turn 4 and open on turn 5 because our board isn't big enough. And so I could certainly see a world where we want 3 copies of just someone else, like Lucian or whoever, and then 2 copies of Yuumi, 1 copy of Fiora. And so I could even see someone like Fiora being okay, just like something to be interactive with. But on the flip side, just like not drawing Yuumi feels pretty terrible. But I mean, you can see how incredibly powerful she is here. Just attaching her to the challengers across the board is a pretty powerful setup, and so I love that about her. That was the big interaction that I was really happy with, was being able to come in. You're probably going to win an attack with your challenge. If you don't, you're probably going to trade maybe 2 for 1 your opponent, and then just get the Yuumi right back. And these decks, at least the Demacia heavy decks, aren't used to having these kind of sources of card advantage. Bandle City, more than used to it. Conchologist and friends know all about the card advantage. But I'm curious if this shouldn't be something to where we take these Durand Sculptors out for Loping Telescopes. I mean, that's always the answer for Bandle City, right? Why aren't we playing Loping Telescope if we're already playing Conchologist? And I could see that working for us. Does that count as a Targon card? I'm not exactly sure how the multi-faction works there. If we're able to, because Yuumi counts as Bandle City, it should still just count as Bandle City, right? We can just add in the Loping Telescope, take out the Durand Sculptor. That seems like a pretty reasonable thing to do. But otherwise, I like most of the things in here. The trackers, the protectors, Conchologist, Broadwing, Protege, like all of the units except the Sculptor I'm happy with. I'm happy with all of the spells, just not certain on the number of Rangers, Resolve, and Wallop. And then we kind of mentioned on the champions there as to the proper numbers, and accepting that it's okay to perhaps drop the numbers on some of these. But at the end of the day, nice set of games. It's a nice deck to run out there and climb the ladder with. We're only in gold right now, but there's only like 6 people in masters or something, so we aren't like super far behind from the ladder grind and the regulars into the top. So getting ourselves right up there. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. I hope everyone enjoyed the games. You may be. I got to get something more with these Yumis. Feels like there should just be like tons of puns with the Yumi, but I've kind of missed out on stopping and thinking about them and assembling them together. So the tons of puns with Yumi. But nonetheless, hope you learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.